Welcome, wonderful friends, to the Sunday Rune and Card readings. We have a very, very special set of solstice readings today where we are going to be working with circles of intent in order to heighten and utilize the astrological energy at this time of the solstice to really help us to understand the process of manifestation and add weight to our manifestations. So I have got this image on the screen just to show you what we're going to be working with. Let me remove that now. And yeah, welcome everyone. Thank you so much for joining me. And guys, just thank you for being a part of this amazing community. You guys are just awesome. You really are inspirational, checking in on your comments from last week's readings and indeed ongoing. The support that you offer one another is amazing. The honesty, the integrity with which you share. Thank you. It is an absolute privilege to read for you, and it's a privilege to be part of creating this incredible community, which wouldn't be a community without you. So thank you. Anyone new to us, to the AZ of Emotional Health YouTube community, welcome. I'm Jenny Florence. I put up readings every single week on Sundays for weekly guidance. We draw on additional guidance for each of the readings. Today we're going to be working with circles of intent, which is a little bit different. Sometimes we're working with herbs, with nature, with trees, with crystals. It depends on whatever I am called to tune in and connect with and share with you guys. So let us tune in to the energy of the circles of intent that we're going to be using that will also be bringing guidance to the 3 different readings. Now, if you know which reading you want to tune in with already, you can fast forward to those readings. The timestamps are in the information box below and also in the comments for phone users. There's a couple of other links in there as well. There is a link to join our subscriber email list because each month I give away a pack of the Art of Manifestation Oracle cards and a free private reading, and often some extra crystals and goodies. If you're on any of my email lists, you should have already heard from me because I've put these circles of intent into a PDF so that you can actually download them and print them and use them for yourself as well. If for some reason you've signed up to any of my email lists and you haven't got an email with this yet, check your spam box. I think there are some problems with sometimes the email sender, they go into the spam box, and you do have to confirm that that's okay. If you haven't received anything, just rejoin. Again, the link is in the information box below. And also, wonderful friends, in terms of manifestation, this solstice energy is extraordinary in terms of literally today. The energy of the solstice is amazing in terms of creative manifestation. Now, every day, and you'll find this in the information box below as well, every day I am now posting on Facebook. This is today's post. I have to admit, I'm quite pleased with myself because I can sometimes, life happens. We aim to post every day and we don't always succeed. So if I don't, please forgive me. I've been managing to consistently post daily, just with the moon timings, so that you really know exactly where she is, if she's in a void of course position, and also if there's anything particularly relevant. So today the moon is in trine with both the sun and also with Jupiter. So very, very powerful energy today in terms of manifestation. Again, Facebook link is in the information box and the comments too if you want to follow us on Facebook and check in on those daily updates. So let's tune in with, let's first of all look at reading number 1. So reading number 1 tunes in with a circle of intent that connects to, for me it's the primary starting point of manifestation. It's the space where we write our dreams, the longer term vision, the longer term goals, the things in our longer term picture that we wish to co-create and manifest into our world. It could be a soulmate relationship, it could be your ideal home, it could be your ideal career path. You might be very specific actually if you've achieved a great deal in your life already, and you know, it could be quite big, quite global. It could also be to seek some resolution over something. So for example, the circle of intent, I've made these images with the moon because I do so much manifesting with the energy of the incoming moon cycles. So let's use this in general terms. If you were aiming to manifest your ideal home, for example, you might write down here, you know, home. Then you might write down aspects that you are hoping to dream in. So you might create a geographical area, for example. So if you know, if you live in a particular area, you could even bring it down to, I don't know, if you wanted to move to a certain village, you might write the name of that village, or a city, the name of that city, or even a localized area within that city. You can kind of move down. You might, let's put city and then put area within that city. You're effectively within your circle of intent, putting down everything from the larger picture to the smaller details of the things that you are wishing to manifest. With a circle of intent, you might actually want to print these off and do more than one. You might do one for your ideal perfect home. You might do another for your career, in which case, you know, again, you can write down the qualities of the career pathway you're looking for, as well as some of the specifics. So you can get really, really quite detailed. If you're drawing in a soulmate, you might have one specifically for relationships, in which case you could get very specific about the kind of attributes you want someone to have. You know, they might be compassionate, they might be caring, they might be empathic. You might really, really be looking for somebody who has, I don't know, courage. I mean, I'm randomly writing things down here. You know, integrity. So soulmate union. Let's put that there. You might be looking for a lifelong soulmate union, so you would put lifelong. So you get the feel of this. What you're doing is you're working with the specifics of the bigger picture, and you can, it really localizes and pulls in that energy, and it helps you to focus. So reading number one is going to be bringing guidance around the bigger picture, around our visions, our desires. So that's just very much the energy of reading number one. So let's look at reading number two. Now, in our process of manifestation, we very often find that we have blocks to manifesting. Sometimes these blocks connect very specifically to boundaries and our ability to be discerning, or to seek or to find a resolution from something from the past. So the circle of intent looks quite different. Reading number two is going to be orientated in supporting us to understand any inner kind of blocks to our abilities to succeed. Now, for me, this is a very important process of working, because if we have ever experienced challenge or difficulty in the past, it can sometimes mean that our boundaries have been, it's almost as if they're no longer intact. If choices were removed for us, if we were treated with a lack of respect or regard, it means that we can be a little bit wide open sometimes. We can even have blind spots. So in our second reading, which is supporting us in removing any blocks to our ability to manifest, this is a really good way of firming up our boundaries. So the inner circle is those things that we will accept in our lives now, the things that we wish to have, to invite. So again, these may be qualities. So for example, respect, integrity, honesty. These are the kind of things, these are the attributes that I personally wish to have. I mean, I could write a whole list of these that I would want in my life. You know, care, kindness. I might also put here abundance. You know, all the things that I seek and that I might want to have But I'm being very, very specific because I don't want people in the immediate circle of my life. So this is the inner circle. I don't want circumstances in my inner circle that would not carry all of these attributes. So this is a wonderful space to write all the things that we would like in our life. Now the outer circle is for me invitation only. Okay, so it says here invitation only. Now what I will write into this circle is all of the things that I am happy to have by invitation. So for example, again, if we've experienced difficulties in our lives, which often leave us with blocks to being able to receive, what we are really in essence here in this circle of intent, deciding and making a statement about are the things that we are choosing to receive and to have in our life, all of the qualities that work for us in any area of our lives. The invitation only part is because sometimes if we have been either damaged by other people, we can sometimes sort of almost overcompensate, and we might become an overgiver or a people pleaser. I still wish, for example, to support my friends, to be there for people, to listen to people, but I also recognise it's really important for me to still have boundaries around that. It's no good if I am open to everybody and trying to support everybody. I could do so at the expense of myself. I could burn out. So, for example, in my invitation only area, I'm going to write things like, being there for my friends, to listen to and support my friends, my family, my loved ones. But it's interesting. This still needs to be boundaried. It needs not to be endless, because although I wish to give, so I love giving. Giving is a wonderful thing. Really love giving. But it also needs to be giving by invitation only, because otherwise I'm opening myself up to sort of the potential for disrespect. So there's something in the outer circle that is measured and balanced. So it's about the things I wish to give. So the inner circle are the things I wish to receive and have in all aspects of my life. The outer circle are the things that I wish to give, but I wish to give with discernment and consideration, not only for the well-being of others, but for the well-being of myself. And this area, I think, of both giving and receiving is very integral to our capacity to be able to manifest successfully, because both giving and receiving can get quite muddled if our boundaries aren't good, and we end up creating blocks because we either can't allow ourselves to receive because our boundaries have been perhaps a bit muddled, or we've been too wide open or our boundaries have been violated even in some cases. Likewise, very important that we wish to give but not overgive at the expense of burnout. So this whole area of boundaries, discernment and resolution of previous former conflicts that might be in the way of us being able to receive. This is the area that we're sort of addressing in reading number 2, and that we use this circle of intent to work with. So we get very, very specific. Again, we're literally really clear. This is what I'll have in my world. This is what I'll have by invitation only. And it's almost as though by writing this down, we are setting a space of intention that creates a commitment to our own boundaries. So that's the kind of flavour and energy of reading number 2. And as I said, you can download these and use them for yourselves as an exercise of your own setting of intentions. So we have reading number 1, looking at visions, desires, the bigger picture. Reading number 2, looking at any blocks to our ability to receive and manifest. And then in our last reading, reading number 3, we have a different circle of intent. This is a circle of intent where we look at the next steps and the power of now. Now, in manifestation, we need to be able to look ahead. We need to look to the bigger picture, the future vision. But manifestation, it's quite interesting, is of course, it doesn't happen overnight. We need to be involved actively in a process of both dreaming, of undoing any blocks to our ability to receive or to connect to the signs and signals the universe gives us, we also need to know what steps to take and how to be focused in the power of now. You know, now is the time when we are both thinkers, we are also doers. We need to take action. So in the circle of intent, next steps and the power of now, we can really start to tune into either opening ourselves to receive. So we might want to receive guidance. So you might want to put guidance in here. Indeed, reading number 3 may give you guidance as to the next step. But we may also have an idea of the next steps. We might also think, well, if I did this, this might lead to this. So we can begin to also have an idea. So for example, if you were looking to move, for example, you might actually start to write some things in here that would help you to take the next steps towards that move. You might ask for and seek guidance to, if you're looking to call in a soulmate union, you might want to receive guidance on perhaps the best way forward to, the next step. Do you join a dating site? Which dating site might that be? If you're looking for a property, which, wanting to seek guidance, you're asking for, which real estate agent would you contact next. So you can put in some details of the things that you are seeking guidance for. Again, you're making a statement of intent that says, I open myself to receive guidance for the next steps, and I also make a commitment to actually take those steps. It's like if the universe opens a door, you're saying, actually, if you open a door for me, I will find the courage to walk through it. So we are seeking guidance, and again, you can get specific about the areas that you are needing guidance in. So again, when we write things down, it helps us, I think, to get our thoughts into focus. It helps us, in essence, to begin to picture our forthcoming story. We can undo any former storylines that are not working for us. We can, and we can really focus ourselves on, the power of now, because the point of power is always in the now. Our actions, our thoughts, words, actions today are, of course, creating our tomorrow. So again, you can use these diagrams as just a way of being able to get creative and playful about the process of manifestation and the areas you want guidance and support with, holding on to that higher vision, removing any blocks. So that is really the areas that reading 1, 2 and 3 are going to be looking at. So future, in many ways, future, past and present. So this is the time when we start to draw the cards and the runes. Now, I know some of you will already possibly know which reading, or indeed readings, you are wanting to tune into. You may already know which one is speaking to you, in which case, fast forward. However, if you are wanting to just sit with me while I draw the cards and the runes, just to get that extra additional kind of flavour or that additional kind of energy coming through, then do please do so. Quite interesting, actually. I was guided to use just one set of tarot cards today. We're going to use the Mythic Tarot. These are my oldest set of tarot cards. I've had them for a very, very, very long time. And we are going to draw 4 cards. For each reading. We're also going to draw from a spirit animal guide. This will be just one for each reading. And we are going to draw from the Art of Manifestation Oracle cards. Now, we're actually going to, cards flipping over, longing to come into our readings. We're going to draw 3 from this pack today. then lastly, but very much not leastly, we're going to draw from our runes. And four runes today for each reading. Right. Very lovely energy here, actually. Really, really lovely. And there's a significant flow of energy running through the readings, which of course doesn't surprise me, because in many ways manifestation is a flow. It's a process. It's a cyclical process. We start with the dream, the vision, the desire. We do need to remove any blocks to our ability to move forwards. We need to find resolution, develop discernment. All of these things are important on our own pathway of evolution. We then get ourselves centered in the here and now, the now. Again, actions and intentions and commitments to ourselves, to our process of manifestation, to the courage actually to take those steps and move our lives forwards, often facing challenges along the way, but being prepared to step through those doorways step by step in ways that allow the universe to work with us and for our future to emerge and unfold. Beautiful friends, you may wish to pause the video and sit with your intuition for a while, just thinking of the future unfolding. I am in the solstice energy working with the July to September tarot readings at the moment. If you're already subscribed, do make sure you've pressed the little bell icon as well, because I will be uploading an overview of these readings as soon as they're done, and that will begin to happen hopefully over the next week. And thank you so much to those of you who supported me in buying the big playlist for the readings, the 3 monthly readings that ran from March through to June. And thank you for your feedback. Truly, I really appreciated that. The playlist, the entire playlist is available, for every single sign. There's 3 months of readings, so it's actually, we end up with 36 readings, for the readings for every sign over, and these will be from July to September, the next batch. There is a small charge, it's £6.50, but it's hopefully not too big a price for 36 readings, which enable you to look at all aspects of readings for your chart, and also of course to cross-watch for friends, family, partners, potential partners. But yes, I am working on those at the moment within the solstice energy. Very powerful to be doing 3 months at a time. I have found it really magical to have that overview, to see where the energy is going, and just to really align myself with that again in my process of manifestation, so that I'm really using the energy to the very best of my personal ability. So, wonderful friends, I will leave you to potentially press the pause button if you wish to, or indeed just to move through into whichever reading or readings is currently speaking to you. Wonderful friends, so much love to you. I will see you in the readings in a moment. Namaste. Welcome to reading number 1. Let's have a look at our runes first of all. So we have the rune of Othilla. This is the rune of separation, actually. You're leaving something behind, or you've outgrown something. You've outgrown a situation. Usually we're leaving something behind that it was right for us before, but it's no longer right for us. We're moving into a new phase of life, like a snake shedding its skin. We have the rune of the warrior, the spiritual warrior, but it's in reverse, which would suggest maybe there's some resistance to letting go. The rune of the spiritual warrior speaks of discernment, of cutting away the old, letting go again of something. We have the rune of journey. The rune of journey can actually mean travel. It's interesting here because Othello can speak of real property. It may be that it literally can sometimes speak of house moving. You know, maybe we're needing to move, we're needing to leave somewhere, let something go, move on, and yet we are reticent to do so in some way. But the Rune of Journey invites us to take that step and to move forwards. Indeed, you may, within your circle of intent, wish to start to vision in where it is you want to go if there is some resistance here. We also have the Rune of Wholeness. The Rune of Wholeness is the pathway you must follow. You are needing to move forwards from something. It's really, really appropriate that you do so. Whatever resistance there is to discernment, and I dare say the cards will speak to us here, whatever resistance, this is needing to be attended to in some way in order for the flow of energy to move. Let's move our circle of intent over here. So we are looking in this reading at where you're going. We're looking forwards. It is a new phase of life that you are entering. So we have the Four of Swords. We have the World. We have the Empress, and we have the Knight of Swords. And also Be Spirit. Sweet results await. This is lovely. Very lovely. Lovely flow of energy here. I think some of you are anxious about moving forwards, and I want to say this reading is really reassuring you that you don't need to have and to hold, let go gracefully and shine. It is really, really appropriate for you to move forwards at this time. You've outgrown something. You've outgrown a situation, or something has come to its natural completion. It's come to fruition, it's come to an end, and it is really, really time to move forwards. What the Four of Swords is suggesting is that you do take some time to reflect on the next phase of your journey. Something's come to an end. It's come to a natural conclusion. It's come to a completion. For some of you, you have worked at something and you've achieved it. It's here. Ta-da! You've done it. Wow! You've manifested up to a stage or a point in your world. But it's now time to reflect on the next phase, the next stage. You know, life is a constant stream of evolutionary growth. It's a constant stream of manifestation. It's time to move into the next phase. And you are being advised to just take some time to reflect. Now, if we think of the solstice energy as this 4-day window of opportunity to really align ourselves with a space of possibility, this is a wonderful time for you guys to be tuning into the bigger picture. Now, for some of you, I'm seeing something that has come to a completion that you invested in, you manifested, and you got there, you did it, fantastic. But of course, every ending is also a space of new beginnings. For others, something actually perhaps that was a little bit more stressful has come to an end. A period of something has come to its natural conclusion. A process of something has come to its natural conclusion. For some of you, it literally is some kind of repetitive pattern within. For others, it's an external circumstance. But something has reached a point of completion, and it's time to move forwards. It's time to start to build literally the next chapter of your life. But you do have to let something go here. It's very, very clear. You have to let something go in order to move into this new space of gestation. It's a new space of creative potential and possibility. What this reading is also suggesting is that there is actually only one way forwards. I mean, to be fair, in terms of growth and evolution, we can only ever move forwards. We can't really go backwards. We can't hold on to something. And you're being asked here to embrace the change and really take charge of it. Really sit down and visualize. Do your circle of intent. and visualize where it is you want to go. Get specific. Send that message out into the universe. That is what is actually going to write the energy of this rune in reverse. I'm actually going to do some energy shifting here. So we know that Othilla is calling you to leave something behind. Something has reached its natural end. It's time to move into a space of gestation and of new visioning in, new dreams, new horizons. We're being called to get specific. Any reticence around needs to be shifted. So if you start to work with this circle of intent, empower yourself to really get clear about the future that you wish to see, the future that you wish to bring in. That does require discernment. Get clear. Say what you want. Literally state those things that you desire. It cannot be something from the past that has come to its natural conclusion. You can take elements from your past experience that you wish to replicate again, but something has come to an end. It's come to a natural end, a natural completion, and it really is the right time to get clear on what you want. In fact, I'm going to place this rune here in the upright position, bang in the middle of the circle of intent. Visions, desires, the bigger picture. Get clear, be discerning, specify what you are looking for. That in itself will open up the flow and the rune of journey and the connection to the rune of journey. I'm just going to bring in, excuse me if I lean across the camera, I'm going to bring in a couple of extra crystals here. Now runes, you'll know I always read from right to left, cards from left to right. I'm going to bring in some amethyst. In fact, actually, I'm going to, although they may look like they're going, I'll just place them in the upright position. Yes, that feels right. Amethyst is such a master crystal. It's a master healer. It really does empower change, and it empowers healing. It's just an incredible crystal. So I'm going to place them here. It really is adding weight to your ability to exert your choice. That's what's coming through here. It's time to get clear. Now, interestingly enough, I think if you set forth this process, it's like sowing some seeds here, scattering some seeds into this circle of intent, but get very specific, be very, very clear about what you're looking for. And actually, that is going to set things in motion. Not only are you sowing seeds, the Empress asks us to nurture. She's the card of motherhood. It's interesting when we think of motherhood as having the duality of the card of the Empress is that she asks us to nurture and to allow something to move from a space of almost like into a space of pregnancy, where we can allow something to start to manifest. Of course, the more negative sides of the card of the Empress is sort of smothering rather than mothering. So there is a message always with the Empress that says, don't hold on to things that need to be let go of. And we have that here in our cards, to have and to hold, let go gracefully, and shine. The Knight of Swords suggests, particularly in this pack, I always feel that something is going to happen, or indeed it has already happened, to cause you to know that you do have to move. If you don't embrace this, I think something will happen anyway that will cause you to know you have to move something forwards. You know you have to take those steps. I think you already know. I think that's why this was in reverse. You already know that you need to move something forwards, that something's come to an end, but you weren't actually sure, or there's a reticence for whatever reason, to want to do that. It's scary to step into the unknown, especially if something that has been quite challenging has come to an end. You may feel quite exhausted, but it's time to heal. It is actually time to move forwards now. It's time to take those steps. Sweet results await. And actually, the universe will open doors for you. Things are going to happen that will enable you to move forwards. And I think there is a choice being offered here in being active in your co-creation, Or indeed, if you're too resistant and you remain in with the rune of the spiritual warrior in a reverse position, if you remain resistant to moving forwards, I think something will happen to cause you to have to move anyway. So much better to embrace this from a creative perspective. And actually, the time is right for you to spread your wings and soar. So again, if you are birthing something into the world, if it's a career pathway that you are envisaging in and manifesting, it's really time to let go of being in a safe zone and move forwards into possibly a space that feels a little bit risky because it's putting yourself out there, but it's time to do it. Sweet results await. To have and to hold. Healthy relationships are formed through love rather than need. It is such a human thing to hold on to others and indeed situations through fear and insecurity. But this dynamic can stifle a relationship's potential to flourish. It can also stifle us in terms of our ability to flourish. And it can actually push someone away, or indeed the circumstances that we need to flourish can be pushed away. Give yourself, give your relationship the freedom it needs to form a healthy foundation of trust. Let go gracefully. Something in your life is calling for you to let it go. Let go gracefully. Whatever has taken place in the past, it is time to move forwards, and letting go will make way for the new. Whether this is a person, a situation, an outdated thought or behaviour pattern, this card comes to assure you that new horizons are waiting for you. The time is right for you to spread your wings and soar. You have something valuable to share. Bring forth your greatest contribution. Step into your fullest potential. Show the world the real you. Reach out and shine. The universe supports your growth. Whether you are calling in a soulmate relationship, whether you are moving forwards on your career pathway, whether you're moving house, whatever has come to a natural completion, or indeed whatever stage or phase, whatever it is that has come to a space of pause, it is time to move forwards. It is time to let go of any fears around moving forwards. It is really, really time to step out, move forwards. If there have been thinking patterns that are in your way, maybe your circle of intent, your visions, desires, and the bigger picture, it will be, a life free of inner restrictive thinking patterns, or a life that is free of inner blocks, whatever. And indeed, reading number 2 may really, really be attuning for you and aligning with you as well as this one. But really, it is time to move forwards. It's time to embrace your absolute fullest potential. Everything here is calling for you to take that leap into the unknown, take a risk, go for it. The timing is completely right. And I think if you try to hold on, something will happen to give you a bit of a push out there anyway. So really, really time to embrace the new at this incredible and amazing, energetically amazing time, astro-energetically amazing time of the solstice, whether you are in the northern hemisphere, summer solstice, southern hemisphere, the winter solstice. This is a pivotal time of shift and change, and the changes are literally inviting you to move forwards and embrace that pathway of the new, but take charge of it. Work out what you want. Put your order into the universe. It's like if you're sitting in a restaurant wondering why the waiter hasn't delivered your meal, it's because you haven't looked at the menu and got specific enough about what you want. And as soon as you do, those doorways, I think, are going to start opening for you. Wonderful, friends. Very powerful shift in this reading. Really, really lovely. Feels as though everything is about to start to seriously burst forth for you. So lovely, lovely reading. So much love to you guys. Namaste. Welcome to reading number 2 with our circle of intent that looks at removing any blocks to moving forwards, understanding any inhibitions or any inner challenges to moving forwards. Our first rune is the rune of growth. This is wonderful because this is about terminations, new beginnings. It's a new phase of life. We have the rune of openings, out of darkness into light. It would suggest you're going to gain clarity. We have the rune of joy, out of darkness into light, which also suggests you're going to gain clarity. You are going to move forwards. And we have the rune of breakthrough. Wow, I mean, this feels like you are at a pivotal time when, yeah, the breakthrough is here. The 180-degree turn can come. It's like something is shifting. Clearly the energy, the astro incoming energy is huge today in terms of shifting. And of course the solstice energy also really lends itself to our ability to move, to shift, to align with the earth energy, to move into a new phase of life. But wow, these are powerful, powerful energetics. Right. Very powerful, actually. So let's move our runes up here for a moment. Gosh, I feel like this is go, go, go. If you have been in any way stopping yourself from being able to receive, or you have felt that something isn't moving forwards, I want to say I think it's going to. We have the card of death. This is a new dawn. This is rebirth. The card of transformation, very tuned into the energy of Pluto. Transformation, circle of life. The sun, new energy coming in. Eight of Cups. This is interesting because you do leave something behind. You're moving away from something, but you're doing so by choice. This is lovely. Two of Pentacles. Now, the Two of Pentacles is an interesting card because it suggests that you are moving into a space where you're going to be working at something new. Stuff is coming through. Love is all around. We have the card of the, oh, look at this, the inner critic, dislike of others and forgiveness of others. Wow. This is huge. This is actually telling us what those blocks are, and it is really suggesting that the timing is completely perfect for you to move forwards, to grow, for openings to come, for renewed clarity. Right, here we have the inner blocks that are going on within us, the things that are needing to be released in order for you to feel safe about receiving. First of all, the inner critic. This card asks you to transform your inner critic into an inner critique. The realistic appraisal and constructive feedback of a critique will enhance your ability to step into the very best version of yourself, whereas ongoing and persistent criticism will wear you down, eroding your confidence and your belief in your abilities. Now, it's interesting because if you have a raging inner critic, it's highly likely that you have experienced vast amounts of criticism in your life. Very often we develop a raging inner critic because it's kind of like we get there first. You know, at least if we're in charge of the criticism, it defends and stops others from doing it, or we become addicted to perfection because, again, it's a way of stopping others from kind of bullying or targeting. People who've been significantly bullied or targeted often have a raging inner critic because it's kind of like they've got to get it all right for everybody very often in order to, it is a form of protection. Dislike of others. Sometimes we form strongly negative feelings towards others. In truth, it is not them that we dislike, but their words, their actions and their behaviour. This card asks you to try to detach from the experience of their behaviour and see them as a soul on their own unique pathway, attempting to manage their own challenging life lessons. This is the kind of root of this. You know, again, we often get into that inner criticism because we have been treated badly. For some of you, there are people around you, actually, at the moment, I'm really seeing that, who have been treating you badly. But it's time to move beyond them. Actually, you're going to choose to leave something behind. When we choose to step into a space of forgiveness, and this doesn't mean that we validate the stuff that they've done wrong as being okay. We don't. But it means we step away from a place where we're tangled in it. We just say, do you know what? They're on their own pathway. They're doing their own thing. I can't change what they do or what they've done. What I can do is I can decide what I'm going to do about it. I can empower myself without being drawn into the kind of inner turmoil that comes when we go over and over and over the behaviour of others. So there's something about really listening to your inner dialogue. Very, very interesting, because of course we are in the moon phase of the storyteller. This is the clan mother moon phase of the storyteller. Reading number 1 was very much about rewriting our story, rewriting drawing the picture of our future. Reading number 2, Circle of Intent, very much about rewriting history and saying, I'm not going to let the storylines that were delivered to me, and indeed might still be being delivered, affect the way in which I am actually going to live my life. Everything here is suggesting that you're going to get clarity, things are going to move forwards, you're going to know where you want to go. I mean, these are fruit-bearing runes. It's like a time of travail has come to an end. It's time to move forwards. You may literally take a 180-degree turn. Something in your life is going to change its course, and it's going to change its course for the better. You choose to leave something behind. This includes those inner thinking patterns that are the residue of challenging behaviour that we have experienced, usually at the hands of others. Forgiveness of others. Forgiveness does not mean that something bad that happened to us was okay. Forgiveness means that we choose to move beyond the experience and to release any ongoing need for retribution. In doing so, we no longer need to keep the memory of what happened alive within us. This choice reinstates our entitlement to be in charge of our own lives. You are being invited to surround yourself in love. Now, when we work with this diagram from the Circle of Intent, what we're actually doing in essence is taking a negative and turning it into a positive reference of desire. So we define the things that we want to manifest in our lives as much by the stuff that we don't like as the stuff that we do. In fact, sometimes if you say to somebody, what would you like? They may not know, but they will know what they don't like, okay? But if we dwell too much in thinking patterns of what we haven't liked, we can remain sort of attached in that energy or stuck in that energy. The Circle of Intent with boundaries, discernment and resolution invites us to shift to a space where we can... So, for example, it means we shift to a space where we locate our desires from a position of love, and we locate our desires on the basis of almost the negative, and we turn it into a positive reference of desire. So, for example, if somebody has treated us disrespectfully, then respect will go into your inner circle. It's an absolute must. I will only live with this. I will only live with people, circumstances that are respectful. So you're no longer clinging to the reference point of disrespect, but you're using it as a position of clarity. This is what the rune of signs, of openness rather, does for us. It helps us to work out our direction. It gives us the clarity. Everything here in the runes is speaking about clear directions, knowing where you want to go, sowing those seeds. The birch tree is symbolised in this rune, Berkana. The birch tree is the first tree to seed itself after a forest fire. It is the beginning of a forest. And so literally everything is ready for you to break through and move through into a space of literally a zone of love. So if you think of this circle of intent, love is all around. You are saying the only things I'm going to have in my circle are the things that resonate with me. If I have experienced the opposite, I will use that as a reference point. That's out of my circle. So disrespect means that respect goes in your circle. If someone has treated you dishonestly, then honesty will be in your circle. If somebody has treated you unkindly, then kindness is in your circle. You're saying this is everything in my inner circle that I am choosing to have for myself. You are re-establishing yourself as a point of power and empowerment. Empowerment does not mean we have control over others. It means we have control over ourselves. You know, we can't change what other people do, but we can choose what we do about them. This is a new phase of growth for you. It really, really is. You are choosing to leave behind anything that sits within you that has held you back, anything that's negative. If you find that within your mind you go back over and over things, or people are annoying you or pissing you off because they're behaving badly, print off a few of these, and every time something happens or it comes to mind and it bugs you, write it down outside or write the opposite on this. You know, so if somebody, you know, get down to the nitty gritty of it. If someone's behaving badly, you can put it outside your circle if you wish, but write the opposite thing in your circle. If you're writing stuff that's outside of your circle, you might want to burn it to let it go, you know, but one way or the other, and please do so safely. But, you know, whatever you're doing, you are creating a shift from something that was a negative into a positive, and you are releasing yourself from any form of entanglement to this. It's time for a new dawn. It's time for rebirth. It's time to make those choices in terms of the things you leave behind. The universe is really with you for new beginnings, and yeah, you may have to work at this a little bit. Two of Pentacles. You might find you have to work at this. Habitual thinking patterns, the inner critic, you know, the going over stuff, the negative feelings towards others who've behaved badly. Yeah, it kind of niggles. It's hard. We've got to work at it. But it is so worthwhile when we let it go and we free up our own energetic zone to only have the good stuff in our life. So all of the things that are absolutely paramount go in the middle, and the things that are here by invitation only come in your second circle. But this is effectively a circle that is boundaried, solid, safe, and it creates that space of breakthrough where the only stuff that's in your energetic field is named and identified in this circle of intent. This is like a commitment to yourself, so it shifts things. And of course we can see where that comes from, understandably. Center yourselves in love, wonderful people. The breakthrough moment is very much around you. And yeah, if you have to work at it a little bit, so what? That's life. This is the stuff of real unfolding, of growth, of opportunity, out of darkness into light, of clarity, of direction, of joy. Carried across the gap by the wings of heaven, new beginnings, new opportunities. It feels such a reading of empowerment. So wonderful, friends. Wow, so much love to you. So much love to you. Namaste. Welcome to reading number 3. Let's have a little look at our runes. So we have the rune of possessions, of nourishment. This is interesting because it's a rune that can suggest unexpected surprises, rewards and gains. It also asks you to be very conscious of what you have, actually, and be grateful for what you have. If you do have something lovely that comes into your life, be prepared to share it. Share your abundance, your wealth. We have the rune of movement, which is the bettering of any situation and something moving forwards. Interesting, because this is the circle of intent that connects to the next steps and the power of now. We then have the rune of disruption. This is interesting because its energy for me is very much like Uranus, the Great Awakener. And of course we are still very much in the space of Mercury retrograde. Saturn is in retrograde too, and so is Pluto, I think. So you know, things may not be moving forwards as quickly as we might want them to be, but this is usually disruption with purpose. Yes, and this is very much aligning with the Mercury retrograde energy too. Signs, the rune of signs, signals synchronicities. You're being invited to pay attention to the signs, signals and synchronicities that are around you. If there is disruption, trust that you're being shown something and that it is coming with purpose. So this is very much about knowing what are the next steps on your journey. So, okay, so we've got the King of Pentacles, but it's in reverse. King of Pentacles, King of Wands, Seven of Wands, Ten of Pentacles. We have Panther Spirit, reclaim your power. This is interesting. Very, very interesting. Okay. We then have which direction, worth the wait, which direction, and open yourself to possibility. Wow. Okay. Very, very interesting energy here. Very clear message, actually. So first of all, next steps and the power of now. King of Pentacles in reverse. Now, this is suggesting that either we ourselves are in a place where we're kind of sitting and waiting for the universe to deliver, but we're not really prepared to do the work. You know, that can happen. Or it can suggest that somebody is around you who isn't prepared to do the work, but they're kind of clinging on to you a little bit because, you know, I feel that's really the greater message, although it works twofold here. Just going to focus on these two cards. Panther Spirit, reclaim your power. King of Pentacles in reverse. Now, I remember doing a personal reading, a little reading for myself about, it was something I was specifically trying to manifest. And this was the card I got in reverse. And I thought, this is really interesting because I had got myself into a bit of an internal space, an internal thinking space where I was really feeling, you know, it's just not happening. Why isn't it happening? You know, I keep asking the universe, I keep asking the universe. And actually, what that card really showed up for me was I was getting too tangled in that level of thinking without necessarily being aware of a kind of a journey that I needed to go on to get from A to B. I was getting into that little bit of a space where I was losing sight of the gratitude for the things that I actually had around me. So there's something here about, you know, reclaiming our power through an energetic shift within us, stepping into that space of gratitude, understanding the law of attraction. The more gratitude we have, the more of an attitude of gratitude, the more comes to us. You know, we need to be focused in the here and now, not just on what we want for the future, but on literally almost like living in that zone of appreciation. That way it keeps the channel of energy flowing and coming to us. That's one message. The second message that comes through is that some of you have someone around you who is rather clinging, as in they would like to ride on the back of you in some way. They would like you to support them. They're not really looking to take responsibility for themselves. They're not really looking to do the work. They're looking at your potential for success and they're kind of riding on the back of that. So I'd like you to be quite thoughtful about that. Think about who you share with. Think about who you are nourishing. One way or the other, you need to nourish yourselves. You need to nourish the ground for your own deliverance. For some people, that means getting to be a little bit discerning and not giving to the wrong people. You know, it's the drains and radiators scenario. You know, I think when a radiator meets a radiator, everything flourishes. But when a radiator meets a drain, the radiator ultimately will end up giving and giving and giving and giving. And it's like a bucket with a hole in it. It's someone who doesn't really want to do the work. They want to step into someone else's world and benefit from it without having to do the personal work themselves. So be conscious of that if that is you. Okay. Now you are being asked to step into a space of empowerment here. There's quite an element of competition around you, or competitiveness, which is quite interesting because In terms of your next steps, the point of power is always in the now. We are always in manifestation, in a space of creation. Our mind, our thinking patterns, our thoughts, our actions, our words, our deeds, they are all part of the creative manifestation process. You are being asked to empower yourself. You are asked to become very conscious of the steps that you're taking, and you're being asked to step up. I always feel, for me, the Seven of Wands, it's kind of saying, do you know what, even if there is competition around you, again, for those of you where somebody is slightly trying to ride on the back of you, they're quite competitive. This is somebody who's quite competitive, but they don't really want to do the work. Be mindful of that. Step up, but safeguard your own interests. If you are manifesting a career pathway, step up, invest in yourself. The Seven of Wands for me always says step up, even if you feel it's a competitive market. You know, maybe I won't succeed, or maybe this isn't going to come to fruition. Actually, this reading is suggesting that it will. Ten of Pentacles, you know, this is, for me, it's like that, you know, the winning the lottery card. But you do have to do something, okay? Now, these cards are helping us enormously because Worth the Wait says, is something or someone not moving forwards as fast as you would like? This card is here to reassure you. Hold fast, be patient. The best things in life are worth waiting for. Which direction? You have reached a turning point in your life. Do not be afraid of taking the wrong path. When you recognise the learning to be found at every step and in every moment of your journey, you will realise that there is no wrong way, only the infinite gain of your personal growth and evolution. Open yourself to possibility. Almost everyone holds some limiting beliefs about themselves. These perceptions block us from receiving the infinite support of the universe. This card is an invitation to reassess and to look beyond these limitations, and to recognise that in opening yourself to possibility, you automatically invite positive change into your life. Now, the two messages, the two positions of this card. If you are in a position where you've got yourself into a space where you feel like it's never going to happen, you are being asked to shift that. Or if you're constantly seeking guidance, but you're kind of not actually seeing it either, or you feel like things are going wrong, the rune of disruption, it's really important to shift your perspective so that if there is a delay, the delay in your manifestation, your process of manifestation, it isn't because the universe doesn't want to deliver what you want, that spirit or source are not supporting you. It's that you have something to learn. You need to step into some kind of evolutionary process. Now, if somebody is kind of trying to step up and ride on the back of you, it may be that discernment, learning to say no, learning to safeguard your own interests is the lesson you need to embrace for things to move forwards. That person is themselves a sign for you. It's showing you what you are needing to work on in a personal way in order to be on that pathway of manifestation, in order to open those doors of possibility, to see the direction clearly. Now, for some of you, it may be that you are anxious, reticent, fearful of making changes, fearful of making the wrong decision. And therefore, you know, we can then sit back in a place where we can't kind of say, you know, come on, universe, show me what to do. And the universe is saying, well, yes, I can, you know, I'm offering you an opportunity, but actually the lesson here is to trust. The lesson here is actually to take some steps, try something on for size. Actually, if you try something on for size, it will help you to get much more defined about what you're looking for. Interestingly, it takes us back to the circle of intent in reading number 1, whereby, you know, we've come through something is completed, and we can then look forward to the future. Or reading number 2, where we are learning from things that went wrong. or from difficulties in our lives, and we are investing then in a process of manifestation. But something in this reading, you are promised something pretty fab here, but you have to reclaim your power. If there is disruption around you, then that disruption is taking you on a journey that will give you something you need, and that in itself is a sign, a synchronicity. It's showing you the pathway. For some of you, there is a need to break free from something. Again, you're needing to break free from either someone or a thinking pattern or a space where you are maybe procrastinating through fear of making the wrong choice. One way or the other, it's interesting. I always feel with this rune of disruption, it's like sometimes something can happen that really jolts us into a place where we have to do something. And it's like suddenly something becomes clear. Sometimes it's like a gradual awakening. It's like something, things just keep on happening, and they build up and they build up and they build up to this sort of breaking point where we have to then move forwards. But everything in this reading is about reclaiming your power, opening yourself to possibility, not being afraid to try things on for size. If something isn't quite moving forwards, you do need to nurture the ground for your own deliverance. There is it's like there are steps along the way that you need to take. Next steps and the power of now. You're kind of being asked to embrace trust. And in fact, that's what I want to write in really big letters here. Trust. Now, whether that is trust in yourself, not being afraid to take a chance, and just trust that actually, if you try something on for size and it doesn't fit, that in itself will show you the next step. If you sit and you're fearful of moving forwards, there's a stagnancy around that stops you. If you're fearful of competition, don't be. If you're writing a book, I've used this example before in some of my readings. If you're writing a book and you think, oh, the competition's so stiff, nobody will be, there's loads of books about the same subject. No one will want to listen to what I've got to say. Yes, they will. Step up. Actually, the example I often give is my mum. At the wonderful age of 87, she is one of the most avid readers I know. If she bought a book, for example, on quantum physics, which she did recently and really enjoyed it, she'll then go and buy 6 or 7 more books on quantum physics because she wants to hear all these different perspectives about it. She wants to hear different people's takes on the subject. She'll do the same about neuroscience. I mean, she's an incredible reader, way more well-read than I am. But, I learned from her that, we can be so fearful of competition that we don't value our contribution. But our contribution is unique to us. So again, step up. Everything in this reading is about stepping up, reclaiming your power. But as you step up and take a risk, the way will be shown and you will receive. This is the lovely, lovely nature of this. Signs, signals, synchronicities. The pathway will be shown. 10 of Pentacles, it really is. It's the lottery win. It's the everything coming together. It's the rewards coming together. But you do have to take action. It's the bettering of any situation, the nurturing of moving something forwards. So yeah, this is really speaking about a number of different circumstances, situations that are unique to us each. Of course, this is a generic reading, but whatever your situation, whether someone is holding you back or you are holding you back, whether you're procrastinating, whether you feel that something will never happen, whether you keep asking the universe but and feel the universe isn't delivering, you're needing to take some steps. And the trust is inherent in this. Trust in your own decisions, trust in your entitlement to have a go and discover, trust in your ability to take the first steps. A lovely example is coming to mind. Actually, I got myself into a space, it was quite fascinating. I got myself into a space where I was kind of waiting to do something because I didn't have almost like all the ingredients to do it. It was a project, it was quite a big project. It was to do with a building thing. And I wasn't taking the first steps because I didn't have everything there. I didn't have all the ingredients, all the resources. And I drew a card. It was a Native American pack of cards, and I got the beaver. And the story with beaver is that a beaver doesn't go and gather all of the logs that they need to build a dam. They go and get one log and they put it into place. They use the resources that are available to them there and then they go and get another log, and along the way the dam gets bigger, it gets better. They don't have to accumulate everything to start with. They use what's available, and gradually over time they build, and they build what they need and what they want. They don't have to they don't have to have the lottery win to begin, but ultimately they end up with exactly what they want because they are prepared to persevere and start. And I actually adopted the same process. I started to use what I had and to take those first steps, and that very big project ultimately did get completed rather than me thinking that I had to have everything in place. It was a really wonderful learning curve. So there's something about opening yourself to the signs, the signals and the synchronicities. You will be given guidance, you will be shown the next steps, but you also have to take action. You have to nurture the ground for your own deliverance. You can't sit and be static. Manifesting is not a passive process. Yes, we need to dream and vision. Yes, we need to remove blocks, reading 1, reading 2. Yes, we need to be available to receive, but we also need to take action. We don't have to have everything in place, but we do need to at least be prepared to ground ourselves in the present and in the here and now, and take steps to do everything that we do in our daily lives to the best of our ability, and trust that the whole process will not only be a learning curve and give us the skills we need along the way to manifest our desires, but also it will be worth the wait, and we must be patient. Because everything doesn't just arrive overnight, and indeed sometimes if it did, it might be more than we could handle. So this is really teaching us about that process of trust, of having a go, not being afraid to get out there and see what happens, taking it one step at a time. It's very permission giving, but it's all about stepping up and reclaiming your power. And if this is somebody who's clinging, if you're in the drains and radiators scenario, or indeed if you are a procrastinator, take it one little step at a time. If someone is clinging, you need to step up and look after your own interests here. Very important. Wonderful friends. So much love to you. I wish you just the best on your pathway of manifestation. So much love to you. Namaste.